you like me to like elaborate on what my relationship with cannabis was like and how it got to that point, or
Yeah.
so when I was getting out of the Marine Corps, I was pumped full of prescription pills, all kinds of nonsense, and it made me a shell of the guy I used to be. It was not helping me. It was making me worse. I was gaining weight. I had no energy. I couldn't sleep. I was taking different medications to counteract the other medications I was taking, and made the
And
decision.
the medications were prescribed for
Anxiety,
okay.
depression, PTSD type symptoms, sleep or insomnia, a laundry list of basic veteran issues that a lot of us go through. Um, like I was so anxious I couldn't go shopping. Like I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't like to be around people. I would get like feel like I was getting cornered, and I would get aggressive, and it was a rough couple of years for me. But it wasn't until I got out of the Marine Corps, and I had access to cannabis for the first time, because you can't do that when you're in the military.
Yeah.
And when I had access to it for the first time, well, since I was a kid, I I didn't realize the medical benefits of it. And when I say medical benefits of it, I mean that I was able to use this substance and become a calmer person, a better, more understanding, compassionate person. The aggressive side of me was gone. I was able to. I developed a strong sense of community and love for people around me that I never felt before. And this was something that I wasn't able to experience before I started doing that. So I developed a very good relationship with cannabis. It made my life more enjoyable. It made me able to be the dad and the husband that I wanted to be, and not be consumed with fear and paranoia and anxiety and depression, and I sleep at night. And so it just became part of living for me. It became this is just the tool that you're going to use to help you get through things, and it just brought me back to earth. And so when you and I started doing this, there was not a conscious decision for me to eliminate this from my life. It wasn't something I was saying is a problem. It was just a tool that I used, and I was okay with it. But as we started doing our treatment, I slowly stopped needing that tool to get by, and to have all those same things that I said I was getting from it. Now I'm having these things without this stuff. And not only that, but when I do try, because like I said, I did enjoy it, but when I do try, now it's given me the opposite effects of what I initially was using it for. So as we slowly went on, I slowly stopped, and it's to the point now where I don't even think about it. And when I tell you I don't even think about it, it used to be I wasn't going anywhere unless I knew how I was getting it when I got there. If I was going to Florida, I was calling somebody in Florida and make sure when I got there I had access to it. If I was going to New York, I was doing the same thing. And now it's not even a thought. I have absolutely no desire.
That's so amazing.
So I don't know if that
you
helps.
started using it when you got out of the Marines, right? So
Yeah.
how long were you in the Marines for?
15 years.
15 years total.
Yeah.
So you enrolled in the Marines, you went to boot camp. And then when did you start going overseas?
Well, I mean, you're talking about combat. I started going I went to Iraq for the first time at the end of 2004.
And then you went back again
couple years later. I came back for a few short months, and then I went right back again in 2005. So I was there for parts of 2004, 2005, and 2006.
Okay. And was it during that time when you're overseas when the VA started giving you medication, or when you got back?
Honestly, I didn't start needing or having any type of issues until until about a few years after I got back.
Okay.
Um, uh, I think because when I first got back, we were still training for combat. We were still focused on going to be constantly going back over there, and so you're in that mindset where that's your focus, and you have that channel to focus your attention on. But it wasn't until I stopped doing that and had to start doing normal life type stuff again when I started having the issues, and that's when they started putting me in therapy and giving me medication. That's when the nightmares came. That's when the anxiety and the depression came. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're living a high speed lifestyle, focused on a certain mission, and then all of a sudden you're trying to be a normal human being in a
Yeah.
world that's not like where you were just living.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that causes a lot of veterans a lot of damage.
Yeah. And so in your experience, the medications that you were put on either didn't work or they created more symptoms or more problems.
Well, ultimately, they if they did work, it was temporary, and I don't know how much of that was placebo or what. But ultimately, in my opinion, you're putting you're treating the symptoms, not the source of the problem.
Yeah.
So taking medicine like that, in my opinion, wasn't addressing anything. It was just kind of numbing it, and there's still underlying issues that needed to be dealt with that I wasn't handling.
Yeah.
So it didn't work for me.
Yeah. So then for when you started using cannabis, you were using cannabis for how many years approximately until you started this work
Uh,
together
5 years or 6 years, 5 or 6 years,
on a daily basis?
every day.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah. Yep. And like I said, that was just part of life. That was just the tool
Yeah.
that I needed. And I was okay with it. But
Yeah. Have you
I love
noticed,
the freedom.
you love the freedom,
Yeah.
the
Of
freedom.
not having to rely on something.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what this is all about. Um, with your, your colleagues and other people that you know from the military, have you witnessed them experiencing similar type of situation where maybe more particularly the ones that have actually served overseas in Iraq, for example? Have you noticed that they have dealt with some of the similar symptoms
Absolutely.
that you did when you returned?
Absolutely. It's very common. And
Yeah,
it's I mean, you could literally go down the list of things that I was describing, and most of my friends have the same issue.
yeah,
And some of them don't get lucky. Some of us, I mean, I've lost friends to suicide because of it. Like it can create a dark spot in your life, and a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to find a way out. Some people crawl into a bottle and stay there their whole life. Some people, will depend on those medications and take pills the rest of their life.
yeah,
Some people will just get depressed and gain, 100 pounds and be unhealthy. I was very fortunate that I found a way out, that I worked my way out.
yeah. I'm so happy, Pete. And I just thank you so much for sharing your experience and,
No
just
problem.
being real and raw about it, because I think that there are so many other people out there that, that are suffering and needlessly suffering and looking for um, something that's really going to work for them. And so I'm so happy that this work that we've been doing together for the last couple of months or so has really helped. And it wasn't even your intention. Like you said, that wasn't even the primary goal when we started. It
No,
wasn't
this
like,
was
oh,
not
this
something.
is my number one thing. I want to,
Yep.
stop using cannabis. And it just
It was
naturally happened as a result of, getting to the root of the things that were driving that. So,
awesome.
yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Pete. I really
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you.